Hello everyone, this is Mr. Hazing with information on the upcoming bond referendum by the Wausa Board of Education on the Strategic Plan Construction Project. Journeying to this point, on July 15, 2016, the Wausa School Board, following the cancellation of the 5-school study, met to discuss next steps as a school district. It was agreed on that date that the Wausa School Board will work hard on behalf of the district to continue to provide and enhance a quality education that benefits not only the students, but the entire district. That includes providing an educational environment that will assist all students in fulfilling their needs, their interests, and their abilities so that they may develop to their maximum capabilities. From August 2016 to October 2016, the board met and gathered information from stakeholder groups, including students, school staff, parents, the agricultural community, business leaders, and community leaders. Following the stakeholder meetings, 2 community input meetings were held to provide clarity to the board on which items mentioned in the stakeholder meetings before were to be given priority over the others. From that point, in December of 2016, the school board, following their semi-annual retreat, established the Wausa District Strategic Plan, which focused on 5 areas of improvement. 2 of those areas focused on academics as well as building and grounds. The academic focus was on expanding dual credit courses, dual credit college courses, so they're credit for both high school as well as college, career pathway enhancements, expansion of vocational technology programs like family consumer science or home economics, business, industrial technology, and to offer and increase agriculture. The reasoning behind that focus was that those programs provide a much-needed labor force to our community, and they also establish job opportunities for our students to come back to Wausa, enabling our community to grow and prosper. To allow for these opportunities in these focus groups, it became very apparent that having a K-12 building needed to meet the needs of our community for not only this generation, but the next generations as well. Also a building that is up to fire code, meets the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA requirements, and is free of vermin, or bats. In February of 2017, the board approved an engineering study done by Infrastructure LLC out of Omaha, Nebraska. The summary of that engineering study is as follows. First, the North Wing, which includes the high school library, the band room, the home ec room or FCS, the business room, and the 2 science rooms, as well as the shop rooms. That summary was that the building was structurally in very good condition. There was notice of settling in some areas, but foundationally the building is solid. It had a moderate amount of asbestos on piping as well as some flooring, but it is sealed and inspected annually, so poses no danger to our students. And it did not meet fire code. South Wing, which is our elementary building, including the kitchen and multipurpose room or lunchroom. That building is a 1960 building, dedicated in 60, built in the late 50s. That building was also shown to be structurally in very good condition. There was notice of settling in some areas, but also foundationally was solid. That building contains a large amount of asbestos in the flooring, the ceiling, as well as around piping, but it is sealed and inspected annually and poses no danger to our students. The bottom floor of the elementary is not ADA compliant, but the top floor is ADA compliant with the exception of the bathrooms. None of that building meets fire code either. Finally, the gymnasium. The building structurally is in good condition. There is settling that is occurring in the southwest corner of the gym, but it is minimal and will not deter from the structure. There is a small amount of asbestos in the tile in the lobby. And at the time of the engineering study, the bleachers did not meet ADA compliance, but those bleachers have been replaced since then, and now they do meet ADA compliance. So now onto the 1913 building. The results of the 1913 building are as follows. The foundation has vertical exterior cracks, increasing settling. There is a small amount of asbestos in the building, some in the flooring and tile around the main office, and then around piping. There is noticeable cracks in the exterior bricks and decay in the mortar on the bottom 2/3 of the building, which would need resealed and tuck pointing. There is noticeable damage to interior of the 3rd floor due to a damaged roof years ago. 3rd floor has also been closed for the last around 20 years. There is moisture damage to the interior hallways going from 2nd floor to 3rd floor. The floor joists on the 2nd and 3rd floor are suffering from what is called creep, which the 108-year-old or 105-year-old floor joists are sagging, which is creating issues in the structural integrity of the floor. And then many years of bat infestation is creating a large hazard of histoplasmosis in the building. So to showcase some pictures, the foundation has multiple vertical exterior cracks. This is one of several that the engineer presented to our Board of Education. Here's pictures of brick cracks and mortar decay on the lower 2/3 of the building. You can see here a vertical crack. You can also see mortar decay here as well as here. You can see in the bricks, you can see brick cracking throughout the structure. Pictures of interior damage in 3rd floor from a faulty roof years ago. Now remember that 3rd floor is closed down to students. But as you can see, there is a lot of moisture damage that we have noticed. We have not dug in the wall for a reason, but there is a lot of wood rot and damage on the interior of the building. Here's another picture of a room on 3rd floor, which is now a room that houses art and one-act inventory. Another picture. Here's a picture of the hallway, the stairwell, I should say, going up to 3rd floor. You can notice multiple areas of damage from moisture. Another picture going from 2nd floor to 3rd floor. We call this the point of no return. That's the sign that we put across the stairway from the 2nd to 3rd floor to make sure that our students do not go up there due to the danger of the area. Here's when I talked about the floor joist sagging causing creep. You can see this was put in less than 10 years ago. This white piece right here, and you can see the movement from just that. You can see the movement in the doorway. You can also see another picture here of the movement in the doorway. A picture of bat infestation in guano, which is a cause of histoplasmosis. There's a bat carcass up on, I think this was on 3rd floor. This is on the 1st floor of the building. This is one of our custodians in maintenance, Vicki Clausen, showcasing a box that has bat guano on it. This is not a long term. This is only several days worth of bat droppings. And so the board was then faced on how much it would cost to bring the 1913 building up to code and renovate. Currently, the 1913 building holds 5 classrooms, 2 restrooms, the superintendent's office, and book lockers. In order to bring the building up to code, they would have to dig, redo various weak points of the existing foundation. They would have to tuck, point, seal, and or replace broken bricks and damaged mortar. They would have to completely remove and replace the 2nd and 3rd floor joists, which would also include removing and replacing all the walls, interior walls on 2nd and 3rd floor, because in a building that age, all the walls are weight-bearing. They would have to remove all plaster and lath, eradicate the bats, remove bat guano. They would have to replace all the interior walls, insulate the walls as well as the attic. They would have to remove and replace all windows and rotting out wood. They would have to put an elevator in the building to meet ADA compliance measures. And to meet fire code, they would have to build a secondary exit around the current building for second and third floor, because there is only one exit interior out of the building. According to code, you must have 2 interior exits to meet code. So that must be an interior building or hallway that's wrapped around the existing building, which would also have to be insulated and fire protected. So when we looked at the renovation cost projection, and the architect set that on a general at $125 per square foot, you can see the cost. Remodeling is about a little over $2.5 million. The elevator itself was put at $400,000. Second stairwell escape interior wraparound would be $100,000. Fire suppression alarms to redo the building would be $150,000. A 15% contingency, which is highly recommended because of when you have costs of remodeling, you do not know when to stop, because once you break into walls, you don't know other problems that may exist within that wall. And then an architect fee, which brought the cost to about $4,226,000 or $227,000. So at that point, the Wausa Board of Education decided that in order to meet the needs of the kids and the community for the next 2 generations, that they needed to look at other options besides renovation. The Wausa Board of Education took the next phase of input, seeking help from community stakeholders to look for further direction on what to do in building and grounds. They decided to interview architectural firms, and an architectural firm, Carlson West Pavandra, was hired to aid Wausa in looking for solutions. To give you a comparison, Carlson West Pavandra has done work at the service unit in Wakefield. They were the principal architect in Niobrara, as well as at Wayne. There was a series of community input meetings to finalize the next steps to ensure that the building process selected not only was cost efficient to the public, but was a good structure that met our students' needs both now as well in the future. The board that decided to get get a close, accurate cost analysis, they selected BC Builders, Butler Buildings out of Battle Creek, to provide information for this project. So the first project in this multiple phase project is the Wausa Foundation Unison Lillian Anderson Industrial Tech and Ag Complex. That steel framed insulated panel facility will enable, in addition to hiring an industrial technology agricultural teacher, will enable our school to facilitate the needs of our students as well as our local businesses and agricultural community looking into these fields of study now and in the future. This facility will also become key to our move to work with local businesses and contractors to provide our students with job experiences and studies that will enable our businesses to hire local kids back into our community, while at the same time enticing our young people to return home, raise a family, and continue to grow and expand our community. The project is a 105-foot by a 55-foot building to be built adjacent to the van barn down on the old tennis courts. It will feature areas for construction, woods, agriculture, also for metals, manufacturing, automotive, diesel, ag mechanics, and will have enough power and mobility to change with upcoming needs and changes of both our agricultural community as well as our industrial and service businesses within this community of Wausa and the surrounding area. It will be complete with a finished room, a 20 by 20 classroom, and a single toilet bathroom and an entryway. Total cost of the building projected is $492,000. The Wausa Education Foundation has approved the allocation of not more than $500,000 to the construction of this building with the passage of a successful bond referendum. So this will not be used with any tax dollars whatsoever. The second phase of this project would be renovation construction of a new high school facility. This project will take place once the ITE Ag building has finished construction and moved into. This project will consist of 3 phases. The first phase is remodeling of the existing shop space and library into 4 classrooms: a history classroom, a foreign language classroom, English classroom, mathematics, as well as art. The phase 2, once we've moved those classes out of the old high school building and into their new areas, phase 2 will be tearing out the 1913 building, the front office area, and the breezeway, and replacing it with the new structure. Phase 3, which will be running concurrently with phase 1 and 2, is bringing the rest of the building up to code, installing sprinkler systems, a new fire alarm and bell system, smoke doors, ADA compliant door systems and bathrooms to provide a good, safe learning environment for all our students, regardless of their abilities and or disabilities. Project completion goal date would be fall of 2022. This is an initial drawing of the main high school and entryway. Note that we are still in the design phase. Upon passage of a successful bond referendum, the board, as well as perhaps a community contingency, will meet with our architect and do design engineer to make sure that we comply within the capacities of our budget, while at the same time creating a building that meets our needs and is visually appealing to new families moving into the district. To give you a layout of what this would look like, for reference points, this is the lobby into the gym. So this would be the west parking lot by the highway. This would be the existing area by the shop doors. And this would be where the front of the building is. So this entryway would line up approximately where the breezeway doors line up now. This would be the kindergarten room, is now the preschool room. And this is the lunchroom area. And this is our elementary wing. So there would be 4 classrooms here, 3 classrooms where the shop were, as well as remodeling the high school library into the art room. Where Mr. Khan's office now would also be put into a smaller classroom. There will also be 2 classrooms here in the new building. This is a fully ADA compliant boys and girls bathroom. There is a ramp down to the lower level. This is one long continuous hallway, a commons area for the junior senior high students, so they will be able to sit in an area before school, during school, after school, for food, for study. And there's a new library, a K-12 library. Currently we have 2 small libraries on each side of the building, and this would be one main library to do 2 things. One, to better facilitate our areas to make sure they are utilized more effectively, as well as opening up the library area to be converted back into a classroom, the elementary, so we can move classrooms upstairs so we don't have to use the downstairs as much and get closer to fully meeting ADA compliancy. This area here will be administration area, and by that this will be Mrs. Hennings, the principal's office. There are 2 study rooms. This is where Katie, where our receptionist, would be. And so when you would enter this door here, up until 8 o'clock, both doors will be open. But as of 8:05, when school starts, these doors will be locked, and patrons will and students that are not on time or had other things to do that day will walk through here through our administration wing. That accomplishes 2 things. One, it increases safety for our students. At the same time, is still an inviting atmosphere and doesn't feel like it's a lockup when you walk into the building. These areas here will be rooms will be a storage area, as well as a office for our business manager, Nancy. This would be a guidance office. a board area, meeting room, superintendent's office. And this area, there will be two parts where this administration area is right now. One is a nurse's station for our ill kids, and then one is a teacher work area. These areas you see here are lockers, because we have to replace lockers throughout the building. And then it will tie directly in to the elementary. So when we talk about cost analysis, it would be a $4.35 million project. The school will contribute out of existing funds $1.35 million, which would go down to a bond of $3 million. It needs to be a voter-approved, tax-exempt general obligation bond. It's a 20-year serial bond, $3 million at 3.329%. Projected annual average debt service is $215,000, which would be a required bond levy of 5.64 cents. As we stated before, the school district will contribute funds, as well as we have an existing qualified capital bond levy in place for about $0.015 for a boiler that will drop off soon. The school district is also levying 4.78 cents in the special building fund to continue to update facilities. If this bond issue is successful, the plan is to lower this levy down to about a little over 2.5 cents or $100,000 annually. The new bond levy for this project will then be 5.641 cents minus the 2 cents for the removal of our some of our special building fund, minus the $0.015 for our qualified capital bond, which would equal an increase of 2 cents. How will 2 cents impact me as a taxpayer? On non-agricultural valuation, such as a home, valuation on a $100,000 property would cost the taxpayer $20 annually, $1.67 monthly, or 5.5 cents daily. And then you can see the movement up for $150,000 as well as $500,000. Agricultural land, Area 1 on a quarter section. Understand this is assessed valuation, not market valuation. The state of Nebraska assesses valuation at 75% of the market value. So when you see your irrigated 1A1 land at $929, that's not what it's worth. That's what it's assessed at by the county. Annually, on a quarter of ground, it would cost $186. Monthly, $15.50, and daily, 51 cents. And you can see going down your irrigated 2A land, your irrigated 4A land. On your quarter section of dry, you're at $162 annually, $13.50 monthly, and 44 cents daily. And then you can see going down on your 3D1 and your 4D land. This is your agricultural land, Area 1 per acre. If you are interested in that, most people are interested in their quarters, but if you are interested in their acre, it would be about $1.16 annually per acre on 1A1 ground. And on 1D1 ground, your dry would be $1.01. So current tax breakdown. You can see the difference here on a 77 tax and a 79 tax would be an increase of 2 cents on the levy. Now I have to be very, very clear that how we attribute this. This would be on these 2 funds and these 3 funds. The general fund is dependent upon special ed students moving in and out of our district. Increases in salaries on staff, as well as other increases in and things like building maintenance, making sure we have heating oil, making sure we have transportation, fuel. So the general fund levy, as you see here, will not be the same. But it will increase the same on both sides. It's just a matter of where we are looking at. We will get more information on that. But this is where, if you're looking just the building, this is where your building would increase on your levy about 2 cents. Final thoughts. One thing that our board and I want to really reiterate is we are very proud of our community, our school. Our school is a special place. It is special not because of the building and not because of the things that it has within in terms of stuff, but it's due to the fact that it has great kids. We also have a very dedicated staff that work very hard to meet the need of their students. The community of Wausa is something that's defying the odds of shrinking. Our school enrollment is consistent and has been consistent and growing since 2006. The community of Wausa has always been a community filled with pride, and the school is one of those areas that our community can continue to be proud of. And as patrons, know that your Board of Education, along with our WA Leadership Committee and staff, as well as a very generous donation from the Wausa Education, or the Wausa Foundation, have worked very hard over the past years to come up with a plan that not only meets the needs of our kids and community, but also is cost efficient and of high quality. Well, that's all I have for this presentation. If you, the vote ballots will be mailed out from Knox County on August 20th. If you are not registered to vote, you have until August 24th to register to vote. Please contact your county office if you live in Knox, Cedar, or Pierce County. As far as the ballot returns, there are several ways you can return the ballot. It will be a mailed ballot. It will be mailed to your door. You can return it via mail. It has to be at the county office no later than 5 o'clock on September 11th, not postmarked. If you want to drop it off, there will be a dropbox located at Center. You can deliver it in person at Center. There will also be a drop box at Commercial State Bank in Wausa, and you can deliver that to Commercial State Bank in Wausa up until 2 o'clock p.m. on September 11th. Thank you, everyone, and as always, it's a great day to be a Viking.